Hi and welcome back to this series of tutorials. In today's tutorial we're going to be looking at all the resources available to teachers through Moodle 2. Now before we get started with resources, there are a couple of changes I wouldn't mind making to our existing example course which we started building in the last episode. So the first thing I wouldn't mind doing is getting rid of this pointless section up here. I feel as though at the moment it's not displaying anything useful, and if there was any welcome message or announcements we want to make on the front of the course, that could easily be done up in this top section here, either above or below this news forum. So, how do we go about deleting this section? Well, the easiest way is if we scroll down to the bottom of the course, you'll find two buttons down here which say either increase the number of sections or decrease the number of sections. Now if we hit decrease, just as an example, and wait for it to load, we should see that one of these sections will be missing off the bottom of the page. And yep, that's happened. Topic 10 is no longer there. So if we scroll back up to the top and grab our section here, the easiest way is to simply drag it to the bottom of the page. Now, sometimes this requires two steps. You need to drag it down there and then scroll down and drag it to the very bottom here. And if we hit that decrease the number of sections once again, we should find that it'll no longer appear on the course. Now we haven't actually deleted the section, all we've done is hidden it off the bottom of the page. So if we go and add another section, you'll notice that we add the section we've just removed, which isn't too much of a problem when the section doesn't contain anything more than text, but if it contained lots of files, we'd want to delete those files before hiding the section. Okay, so now we can begin looking at some resources. Right, I think I'm going to create another section here called Key Concepts, which is going to house all the resources we'll be looking at in today's tutorial. So Key Concepts, save changes. We'll have a bit of introductory text which I can copy in from somewhere else, and we're going to be adding it to a label, which I guess the first resource we're going to be looking at. If you go into the activity chooser and choose label, there'll be quite a bit of information here. Labels are quite versatile. They can house anything from text to images to videos, almost anything you want. But for now, text is good enough, so I'm simply going to paste it in. We've got all these options similar to Microsoft Word or any other program you might be familiar with up here. And I'm going to hit save and return to course. Right, now we're back on our page. We can add our first proper resource, which is going to be a page. Okay, you can think of a page as a label which doesn't take up any space on your course. It's effectively, you can house the same things as a label, but on its own page. So if I hit page from the activity chooser and click add, we'll get the options for this page that we've just added. So firstly you've got to choose a name. I'm going to choose some random concepts such as consumer surplus. Description, this is a page about consumer surplus. And now down here we've got the content. This is the important part. This is basically the label which you're linking to from your course page. So you can have images, text, whatever you want really. Anything that you could have in a Word document you can pretty much have here. So I'm going to take some random text. This is some random text. I'll add an image, shall I? Nice sample picture of a desert. That'll work. Okay, that'll do for the time being. I doubt anyone's actually going to look at this this page. But I'll click save. And we can see it from the student's point of view if we click into it. this some random text, and a nice big image. So that's worked rather well. I'll go back to the course now, and I'll just duplicate that using this duplicate icon to the right hand side of our page. Yes, I want to continue. And I might as well edit. Produce a surplus. Okay, so we've got a couple of pages. Now I think it's time to move on to the next resource, which is going to be the folder resource. Now folders aren't used very often, but they can be useful for some things. So go into my activity chooser, I'm going to choose folder. Now an example of where folders might be useful is if you have some optional resources. So some things which perhaps you don't want taking up space on your main course page, but you want to give students the option to be able to access. So I'm going to call this Advanced Concepts. Now I'm going to paste in description here. Okay, and we're going to be using the Moodle 2 drag and drop feature. Now if you didn't see our first tutorial, in Moodle 2 you can choose files from your folder structure and simply drag them into Moodle. You can either drag them straight onto the course page, or you can drag them into any of these boxes which say drag and drop files here to add them. So I've just dropped a few files into there, and here they are. So these files will all be within our folder. So I'm going to hit save and return to course. Maximize this screen. And you'll see that there's a folder on our course page. If we click into the folder, we see all of those files. Okay, so let's move on to our next resource. So we've given our students an explanation of these two concepts up here. But it would probably be a good idea as well to point them in the direction of some further reading. So I've trawled the internet and I found a couple of links which I think would be useful to our students up here. And we're going to link to these from the bottom of this key concepts section. I've already added a label with some text telling the students what's going on. So we're ready to add these URLs now. So from our activity chooser, go down to the very bottom where it says URL and click add. Then we go to the website that we want to link to, highlight the URL or the address at the top of the page and copy that. Then going back to our course, we can paste it into this external URL box in the URL resource. We also need to give our resource a name, so Consumer Surplus Explained, and we can hit save. I'll just copy that other URL so I'm ready to add the next one. Add an activity or resource, URL. And I paste that into there. Interesting economic developments. And click save and return to course. Okay, so we've got these two links here. So from a student's point of view, they see these on the page, and if they click them, they're taken straight to the website that me, as a teacher, wanted them to see. So that's all worked perfectly. Okay, I think we can leave this tutorial here. Hopefully you've had a brief overview of the most commonly used Moodle resources. There are a couple which I've left out, because these are fairly complicated to explain and we don't see them used particularly often within the college. But I will make sure that there are links to guides on each of these on the Using Moodle 2 course. Thank you.